Hey guys, Joey here. The patch 10.3 patch notes came out today, so I'm just going to do a quick little rundown of them and my opinions of the changes. There's only one change I think that I'm actually excited for, and we'll just get right into it. That's the Akali change, and I think they're finally actually putting her into a point where she might not be extremely broken. I mean, we can hope. This champ survived a lot of nerfs, but I think this will be the one that finally makes her not as good. Her Q is costing more energy. She's not getting much movement speed in the Shroud. Her ult is now targeted and like shorter range, which is nice, I guess. I mean, this is a little bit longer than Caitlyn attack range, and hopefully, I mean, they're not really doing anything to her damage, which kind of sucks. But I mean, she's still gonna one-shot you, but I think she'll have like a much harder time doing it. Next up is Aphelios. His sniper rifle is not infinite range, which wow, who would have guessed that this is probably something that should have happened on the release of the champion. I think they need to do more to nerf Aphelios. I think he's way too strong, especially since they're nerfing the other meta AD carries in this patch. This champion is just going to be extremely broken in the bot lane still. Azir nerfs, or sorry, Azir buffs, a little bit of mana, more soldiers on his ult. I don't really know if this actually does anything. Maybe he'll come back to play. I mean, with Corki coming back to play, of course he will. Corki's getting a pretty decent buff on his W, which is nice to see, I guess. I mean, it's just going to make the competitive meta back to Azir Corki every single game, which makes the game less interesting in my opinion. So not too thrilled about these changes. Diana nerf probably needed. Champ seemed a little overtuned, but nothing really major on this. Just some mana and a little bit of damage. She'll probably still be pretty strong for solo queue, so I wouldn't worry about that too much, but just not as strong. Echo Jungle is actually getting a pretty big nerf here, basically losing 50% on your passive damage to monsters, which is, I think, pretty relevant. I mean, his clear speed is going to be a lot slower, and in turn, he's going to take much more damage. So, I mean, it's fine. Jungle's getting a big buff later in this patch anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. I think this is actually a very interesting change. When you buff attack speed growth, it's actually usually pretty big for AD carries, as well as they're messing with his mana growth. And this is probably giving you like an extra Q or two in lane, but it's also giving you a bit extra AD once you get your mana immune, which is nice. And the attack speed growth is going to be pretty nice for Ezreal early game. Maybe he'll come back into the meta, but it's hard because I feel like everything kind of bullies him. Like Aphelios versus Ezreal, like I'd much rather be the Aphelios. Um, Galio buff here, I think. I mean, this really does nothing, I think. Leona nerf, which is nice. Her damage is getting hit a bit. Should probably still be played in the meta. I mean, her damage really wasn't the entire reason people played her. She's just an insanely tanky support. So, I mean, nice to see a meta champ get nerfed. That'll still be meta, but nothing really too big. This is actually kind of big. Again, I said attack speed growth on 80 carries, pretty big change. So, MF won't be as strong, but with all the other champions being nerfed and like Ezreal being the only buff data carry, I assume she'll still be strong in the meta. Rumble is getting nerfed. God fucking bless. This champion is really broken. I mean, they're buffing his armor, I guess, but his shielding getting nerfed is really nice to see. I mean, I think his damage needs to be nerfed more than his like tankiness, but I mean, we'll take what we can get. Small Sejuani buff to her first clear. That'll be nice for anybody playing Sejuani. This is a interesting change for sure. I mean, Senna, when released, is obviously trying to be a support, not a marksman, and she's just been a lot better as a marksman. So they're making her soul rate better as support, and then way worse when she is CSing for cannon minions. This I didn't think was going to be that big, but then they added this where Targons now applies like gives Senna the kill credit and gives a really shit chance to drop soul, which actually is pretty big, I think. Senna AD carry still going to be played 100%. I don't think people are picking it just because of the soul drop rate or anything like that. People are picking it because all the meta AD carries just suck right now, and an AD carry with a heal just is pretty good. I mean, that's one way to be relevant, and her damage is still like fine. So I don't think this is really that big of a change, but I mean it's nice if you're playing support Senna to get a little bit more souls. Uh, this is I did not realize he had this much base health regen. This is fucking insane. Um, Small nerf to set. Don't think he's really going to change too much. Still probably be really strong. Another small nerf to Sona. I don't really think that changing 5% movement speed is really going to affect the champion on an ability because this ability already makes her insanely fast, because this is still like twice as much as what it was from 10-1. So nothing really big there. The Yuumi changes are pretty interesting. Um, Her laning is going to be probably weaker, I'd imagine, but they're adding percent or off of target mac or current health to her Q. So I imagine her laning is going to be weaker, and then she's going to scale a lot better. The Q mana cost is really nice because it got really expensive if you were putting points into it. This is basically irrelevant for most matchups, and then the Zoomies heal is basically worse through the entire game. You need like what, 400 AP to make this not a nerf? Yeah, anywhere above 400 AP, I think it's a buff, but anywhere below 400 AP is a nerf, and most games you're not getting 400 AP on Yuumi, believe it or not. More XP on large jungle monsters, and first large monster bonus experience. I wonder what clear speeds are going to be like now, if you're going to still be able to get 3 off doing red, blue, and Gromp. If you don't get 3 off doing those 3 camps, then this is probably a really big change. But if not, it's whatever. I think this is really fucking nice because this removes funnel for the first 14 minutes of the game, so Master Eterics and stuff like this probably won't be able to exist, which feels really good to see because that's just like a toxic strategy that doesn't deserve to be in the game. Krug XP going up, Krug gold going up. I mean, just buff to Krugs, which is nice. Base XP on blue and red is going down. Monster XP leveling scale. I think this is good. I mean, overall, jungle is just getting a nice amount of XP back into Krugs and less into buffs. So I guess just clear Krugs. Sound and visual updates, ARAM balance changes, most important. Nothing really relevant. Bug fixes, and then skins. Wow, they buffed Yumi and she got a skin. Who would guess? The true damage Senna skin looks pretty nice. Hard Sinker Jinx, I don't think it looks too nice. I don't think I'll buy any of these skins. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys like this video, please let me know. And maybe I'll do more for 10-4. But good luck climbing, lads.